From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a major night here on Evenings LALATE as two major banks confirm what I've been reporting for over a year. The U.S. economy is in a recession, and that recession is either going to be mild, if you listen to them, or severe, 2 years if you listen to me. And over this broadcast, we're going to go over these credible 2023 stimulus checks passed law and paying. When we say 2023, it does not mean they were passed this year. It means they were passed in another year and are paying in this year. And then over this incredible broadcast, we're going to go over these huge 2023 stimulus checks and show you how to become a payment guru, how to become a stimulus scholar, how to become a payment PhD, because these incredible stimulus checks pay out a lot. And if you listen to Brian Moynihan at Bank of America in the second half of this week reporting, or Jamie Dimon at Jamie Morgan Chase, who last year would refuse to use the word recession, tonight it is, they say at least a mild recession. I've been saying a 2-year recession underway, just starting. That's why you need to get 18 months of incredible checks, not $1,800. That's why you need to get on average 4 or 5 checks per month for $8,000 across the board, not $300 check one time every 3 years. And over this broadcast, we're going to go over these incredible checks. First, we're going to go over when the checks were passed. Then we'll go over each incredible check one at a time, A to C, E to K, L to Q. Then we're going to go over how to get the incredible checks. We're going to go over the membership newsletter. And the big second half, we'll go over the latest details of what the market saw and those comments from head of Chase and head of Moynihan overnight. Plus, we'll get a guidance on what's happening this week because, whoa, look at what's going on. Banks are reporting corporate earnings this week, and that will give us an indication of how much and how broadly and how severe the recession will be. We'll have the latest details of what we saw in that CPI report, and also we'll go over the other type of stimulus that no one's telling you about. Small business stimulus that could pay you over $500,000. Unemployment stimulus, children's stimulus. How do you get this? Go out of the video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Barrack Casino VIP. And we'll go over that plus the newsletter in this incredible broadcast. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, it's a major recording. We're going to go over all these incredible sums of money tonight, one at a time, for you, the Purple Power, because you are about to become a payment PhD in tonight's broadcast and a stimulus scholar. Breaking news starts now. And good evening. Thank you for joining me on a very wet day here in Santa Monica, California, as the storm is passing in once again. Also passing in is a stimulus storm. Millions of Americans are going to be looking for stimulus as a recession is being announced by two major bank heads overnight. We'll go over that breaking news and your stimulus in this broadcast across the board. That's why you need to watch this entire broadcast, in which I will show you how to become a stimulus scholar, a payment PhD, because you need 18 months of checks, not an $1,800 check. You need $3,000 a month, not a one-time $300 check every 20 years, and 5 checks a month MSC, and this is all law. What are we doing in this broadcast? First, we're going to go over what the checks are, how the checks were passed. Then we're going to go over to each of the incredible checks one at a time. Then we'll go over to unemployment stimulus, and we'll also go to business stimulus, and then we'll also, of course, go over how to get these incredible stimulus checks in the membership newsletter. Have you become a member? If you haven't, do it right now and get ready to apply for checks by the time this video's over. Plus, we'll go over the latest details of what we should see this week. Major banks reporting corporate earnings. That will give us guidance of whether we are in a severe recession. We'll look at see what that CPI told us as well. But first, let's go into the breaking news with stimulus tonight. Stimulus covered over this broadcast tonight has been passed over the last 3 years. Let's understand how laws become effective and how the laws are becoming effective for you tonight. How are you? You can hear the rain coming on in. Oh boy, it's a big storm. Second storm of the month, and hopefully the last. There's also going to be a stimulus storm underway. That's a little bit different. But let's go with the breaking news starting right now. The way that laws work is the following. When a law is passed and becomes law, it does not expire unless it has an expiration provision in there like a gallon of milk. If it doesn't, it stays law and remains law if it's still funded, meaning there's enough money or milk in the carton of milk. There's enough money to still pay you stimulus. And the incredible stimulus covered of this broadcast still has money in it. It's stimulus passed for 2020, 2021, and 2022. It's stimulus for 2023, which has the biggest year of stimulus. These are stimulus checks A to Q for you if you made less than $75,000 last year and $150,000 less as a married couple. Now, here's what's important to understand and why tonight's a little bit different. What's important to understand is that tonight is going to turn you into a stimulus scholar, a payment PhD, because these stimulus require a little bit of learning to earn, and you will clean up. We're not talking about $300 checks that come once every 20 years. No, we're talking about 18 months of checks, not $1,800. And this requires a little bit of learning, and that's what I'm going to show you over this incredible broadcast. First, let's go over where the checks became law. Then we'll go over each check one at a time. Then I'll go over how to get the check. And we're going to go over then the market news that saw the announcement of those recessions from two major bank heads overnight. First, let's go over where these incredible checks came from. A to C, we're going to do first, then E to K, and then L to Q. And A to C are the first, and they came from Joe Biden. Joe Biden passed A to C by executive action in early 2022. And those incredible checks are huge because why? There's so much money in those first three checks. There's nearly $100,000 in those first three checks. A to C, passed by Joe Biden in spring of 2022, has been paying viewers of this channel ever since. And it's a lot of money in these incredible A to C checks. Then came Congress, and they passed more checks, E to K, bringing us to then hundreds of checks for you, the Purple Power. And after that, I kept on looking for more checks, L and M, N and O, and P and Q. What my focus was in 2022 is the same as it is tonight. In 2022, I was the first and only American financial broadcaster to record that the U.S. economy would be suffering a recession starting around now. And I said it was going to be 2 years. The viewers of this channel immediately reacted in spring of 2022, and they said, if that's the case, get us some big stimulus. And I did. I had a triple mandate for myself at the time. Big checks, not $1,200 checks, 12 months of checks. Broad eligibility, not just one group of people, all my viewers. And then ease of being able to get these incredible checks. And we're going to go over that in the membership newsletter. So let's go into the first three checks right now, A, B, and C from Joe Biden. Let's do those. Then we're going to go into the membership newsletter. Then we'll go back to E to K thereafter. A to C, passed by Joe Biden, and they are wonderful. Of these first three checks, I like B better than A. Why? Because it pays a lot of months of checks. You want checks for 18 months if it's a 24-month recession. And that's what viewers are getting. And let me say something a little bit out of order tonight. Viewers are recently asking great questions. I'm a renter. Can I get A, B, or C? Renters have gotten B and C, but you cannot get A if you're a renter. If you're a homeowner, you can get A, B, and C. So let's go over those beautiful checks right now. These incredible checks are for you, and everything on this graphic, A to Q, has the same eligibility. These are stimulus checks passed for Americans, and whether you live in U.S. states, U.S. territories, across the board, so long as you make $75,000 or less, it's fast stimulus, $3,000 a month, MSCs pass a law, 5 checks per month. Let's go over each of these incredible checks now, one at a time. Let's go into great stimulus check A, starting right now. Stimulus check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 check. It's absolutely wonderful. And how to get that wonderful check A? You go under the viewers membership. You go under the video and become a member, and then go into the incredible membership newsletter, which we'll go over in just a second. Then get stimulus check B, which pays $15,000 to $80,000. But the reason why I like stimulus check B the most is because this is the check that's paying you on average 18 months, 5 checks per month, and $3,000 across the board. That's why I really prefer stimulus B over A. But I want you to get as many of them as you can. And then you're going to go to stimulus C. Remember, these all have the same eligibility. Less than $75,000, yes, this is for you. Married couple, less than 150,000. This is you, SSI, SSDI. These are stimulus checks A to Q. So far, we are just at A to B. Now, once you're done with B, then you want to start getting C, which is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And viewers have been doing really well with stimulus check C. Let's look at some of their success stories as members of the Purple Power on this channel. Stimulus check C for rent, viewers are getting upwards of $30,000. Yes, you can do it as well. You deserve these big sums of money and get these incredible sums of money for rent by becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, and Calcino VIP. Utilities. Mark's brother-in-law went to $15,000. $15,000 is a very common number for utilities that viewers of this channel are getting across the board. Snap combinations of checks, well, that same brother-in-law got $250,000. And then combinations of checks, look at this. Mark was at $32,000. He went to $50,000. He went to $100,000, then $166,000. Niecy's at $32,000. She went to $50,000. Lorraine was at $105,000. She went to $155,000. And Dragon has gotten a whopping $170,000. Big numbers of over $100,000 are very, very common on this channel. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. In this broadcast, we're going over stimulus checks A to Q initially, and they all have the same eligibility. These incredible checks, A to Q, all have the same eligibility, and they are paying out big sums of money. Of course, B is the one that really helps a lot. Now, before we go to the next group of checks, E to K, I want to go over that incredible membership newsletter. So far you're excited. You want to get stimulus check B especially. You love A and C as well. So how do I do this? Step one, you go into the video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Join the channel, whether you're watching LA 1, LA 2, or LA 3, and get access to the newsletter for all three channels, the newsletter at that website on that screen. Remember early in this broadcast how I talked about my triple mandate when we understood we needed big stimulus for a 2-year recession? I had three focuses at the time. Big checks. Yes, these are not $1,200 checks. These are 12-month checks. Broad eligibility. This is not one group of people. This is everyone from someone who is unemployed to someone who's on SSI to someone who has a small business and has 20 employees. I have something for everyone nearly in tonight's broadcast. Then the final mandate for me was the ease of being able to get these checks. And initially, the membership newsletter was delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. Still delivered that way. But for December 2022, I had a Christmas gift to you. Build out a brand new website at news.lalate.com/newsletter, where you can become a member tonight while watching this video and immediately go into that membership newsletter while watching the video. Instantly. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I make it even easier. You don't even have to write down that website address on the screen. Just remember what it looks like. news.lalate.com/newsletter, because where can you click on it? At the top of the chat, in the description of the video, and under the video. Click on it, go right in, and with the password for the most recent posts on this channel, go right in and start applying for some incredible checks. We've so far only done stimulus checks A to C, so now let's go to E to K. What's important to understand about the way Congress works is their job is to pass laws. Their job is not to tell you how they did it, not to even tell you that they passed any laws. It's your job as a citizen to know this and find it out. And if you don't find it out, you don't get the money. It's always been that way. It just didn't start yesterday. Congress is not a news agency, and they're not a press agency. It's your job to learn about the stimulus, and if you don't understand it, then you need someone to explain it to you. Tonight, you need neither, because I have it for you in this incredible broadcast. So stimulus checks E to K. You may have never heard about them. You may have never seen them. And I got to tell you, thinking right now, the first time I thought about this in a while, when stimulus check E to K was debuted, I grabbed it that night and immediately printed it out and saved a copy. I don't know if I saved enough copies, though. I immediately printed it out. I have never seen it mentioned ever again. So when these laws become laws, if you miss that one time it's announced, as a broadcaster, you may never catch it again. As a viewer, if you're not watching these things or keeping it on your radar, you'll totally miss it because it's mentioned once and that's it. It's gone. It's off the radar. So let's look at beautiful stimulus checks E to K. And they are law. Still funded, passed in 2022. Stimulus check E is a $7,500 stimulus check. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it as much as our beautiful brand new L behind me. Do you see that beautiful L over my right shoulder? My right shoulder. It's just gorgeous. Well, it's right for me, but it's left for you. The beautiful brand new L and the beautiful brand new A. I wondered before I went on camera if it was going to be reversed. Backwards L. You know, sometimes cameras reverse things. It's not. It's not reversed at all. So there's our beautiful L and A for LA. And we have brand new lighting on the set. Total refreshing of the show and the set overnight, and we need it because the storm is outside right now, which you may be picking up in the audio. Very, very dark outside, but you wouldn't be able to tell with all this brand new lighting. Thank you to everyone helped me, which is me. Stimulus app is a beautiful $4,000 stimulus check. I want to thank myself for helping me. Stimulus check G, 30% off. Stimulus check H, $2,000 stimulus check. Wow. Stimulus check I and J, $8,000. Stimulus check K, $14,000. Incredible. So those so far are stimulus checks A to C, E to K. Now, that's done with Joe Biden and that's done with the Congress. But I'm always on the lookout for other stimulus checks. And I found them thereafter. So now let's continue to L to Q. These have the same eligibility as the first group of checks. Again, anyone who made less than $75,000 last year, therefore you, and you need to pounce as a Purple Hawk to get these incredible sums of money. Let's go over stimulus checks L to Q. Again, they're all in the membership newsletter. Have you become a member? Do it right now and go right into that membership newsletter. Stimulus check L, $100,000 on average of low interest-free money. M, $4,000 stimulus check. N, I love N. It's a brand new computer, tablet, laptop, free internet. How can you not like that? Brand new tablet, incredible. Stimulus check O, zero down payment, zero closing costs on a brand new mortgage. And then stimulus check P and Q. P is a beautiful refi on existing mortgage. And Q is an $8,000 stimulus check. Oh, just wonderful. So I want to take a break right there to recap what we've done so far. It's this graphic, A to Q. Why am I taking a break right there? Because they all have the same eligibility. They all are for you. If this issue, if you made less than $75,000 last year, you qualify for A to Q. If you're on SSI and SSDI, SSA, veterans, low income, you qualify for A to Q. This is federal stimulus from those people in Congress, those people in Washington, D.C., that person in the White House. This is federal stimulus, has nothing to do with your states, has no bearing on where you live or how you live or how often you eat Brussels sprouts. Has no bearing on it whatsoever. 18 months, 5 checks per month, $30,000 a month is what you want to shoot for. It's happening all the time. Again, how do you do this? Become a member. Go into this video, become a member. Channel 1, LA 1. Channel 2, LA 2, or Channel 3, LALATE 3. And then go into that incredible membership newsletter. Well, let's go over a little bit more about this right now. That membership newsletter, you don't even have to remember the website. Just remember what that website looks like, that address, news.la.com/newsletter. It's at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, and the description of the video. As soon as you become a member, go into the most recent posts on YouTube for the respective channel you became a member, and look at the current password being sent from me to you in the most recent post. It's in all the posts all day long for members. Grab that most recent password, put it into that membership newsletter, and start getting checks. Now, in addition to those checks, there are other checks, and this is why 2023 is so exciting. I have stimulus checks for everyone I just went over, and I also have stimulus checks for unemployed people. I have stimulus checks for children, and I have stimulus checks for small businesses. The small business stimulus checks are absolutely incredible, and those are stimulus checks are. Stimulus checks are based upon the events of 2019. Yeah, we're paying out in 2023 based upon what happened in 2019. It is the Employee Retention Tax Credit Stimulus Check R. It's down in the membership of Stimulus Check R. Reach out to a tax preparer. Let's go over how it works and what does it pay out. All my business viewers, EIDL grant, EIDL loan, PPP, LWA, come on back. This is all you. And wow, this is an insane amount of money. If you had an employee on staff in 2019, the pandemic hit in 2020, you kept them on staff, the pandemic continued in 2021, you still kept them on staff, you're getting paid a lot of money. A lot of money. How much money are you getting paid in this employee tax retention credit? It is at Stimulus Check R in the membership newsletter, and reach out to tax preparer to prepare you for this right away because tax season is just upon us. This is $26,000 per employee that you kept on staff in 2019, 2020, and at least the first 3 quarters of 2021. Yeah, you heard me right. If this is 10 employees, you're getting $260,000. If this is 20 employees, you're getting $500,000 of business stimulus. So you've seen I've done every stimulus so far from low income all the way up to business. I got other categories of stimulus starting right now. They are unemployment stimulus. Unemployment stimulus is so critical in 2023 because more Americans are going to get laid off. They're going to be hiring freezes. They're going to be store closures. There's going to be bankruptcies, and you need unemployment stimulus. So let's go over how unemployment stimulus works right now from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Wow, it's a great show, and we're just getting started. Unemployment stimulus is based upon the concept that you were a fired W-2 employee and remained unemployed for a certain period of time. So what do you need to do? In this example, let's assume a series of facts. You're a W-2 employee, employed in September last year. Then unfortunately got fired October 1st. Awful. Unemployed all of October, all of November, all of Christmas, all of December, just horrible. But January started a brand new, great year of a brand new job, and you got a brand new job in January of this year. And then you found this channel tonight and never knew that you could have gotten unemployment checks for October, November, and December last year when you had nothing, no job, fired W-2. Can you get them still tonight, even though you later got a job? Yes. So let's go over the details of it right now, how it works. Step 1, go to your state's Department of Unemployment and file the claim if you're a fired W-2 employee anytime recently. On step 1, you're going to be asked 3 questions. First, what date were you fired? In this example, it's October 1st. Second, are you willing to work? Yeah, I am. Are you able to work? Of course I am. Answer, done. Result, your claim is approved. Done. So simple. Isn't that simple? But you're not getting paid yet because that's only step 1. Step 2, you got to certify for weekly benefits. And this is where it's going to ask you, were you unemployed still in this week? And what about this week? Were you still unemployed? In this example, you were absolutely unemployed the whole month of October, November, and December, 3 months. That's a lot of weeks. That's 12 weeks. That's 12 stimulus checks as a fired W-2 employee. You will not be entitled to any unemployment come January because you got another job. But you're absolutely entitled to unemployment stimulus checks for the weeks you were unemployed as a fired W-2 employee from that first job. That is October, November, December in this example. Can you still get these checks even though you later got a job at another place? Yes, you can still get them from October, November, December, now in February. Absolutely. So that is the importance of unemployment stimulus. What's also important is getting stimulus as fast as possible. Over this broadcast, I am taking you and separating you from other people. And what are we doing? You're getting educated, you're graduating, you're becoming a stimulus scholar, a payment PhD, because there's going to be 2 different groups of people in 2023. People who don't want to learn anything and will not earn anything for stimulus. People want to learn and will earn. We ain't here to cover $600 checks that land in the mailbox. That does not require any level of learning or earning. We're here to get tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus to survive a 2-year recession. I got people on day 1 of this channel in spring of 2020, hundreds of thousands of dollars for one person happening every single day on this channel when this channel had 1 or 2 viewers happening every day. Tonight, I have over $300,000 of stimulus checks for you law passed. That is why this channel works. It's America's most watched show in prime time. It's Evenings LA. Now with new time slots. If you didn't catch it, Evenings LA has been moved back to 5:30. And LALATE Live on Channel 1 airs at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So does shortly thereafter on Channel 2 Stimulus Live and on Channel 3 Wall Street Live. In the big second half, we're going to go over what happened with Jamie Dimon. Recession. Brian Moynihan, Bank of America, recession. We're going to go over the latest details of what we see this new week because guess what? Corporate earnings are coming on in, finally. Corporate earnings are a very big indication of where this economy is going. Because the corporations aren't doing well, they're going to fire people. And if people are fired, they're going to be in big economic trouble. I'm not saying any of these companies are firing anyone. I'm just telling you corporate earnings are critical to gauge how big a recession this is going to be. On Tuesday, the banks report. On Wednesday, the truckers report. Thursday, the consumer products report, like the food that you eat. And Friday, more corporate earnings as well. We'll be looking back at that CPI and what we learned this week about inflation. Plus, we'll be looking at what the Federal Reserve is doing based upon these inflationary reports. Inflation came in at 6.5% this week, and that's not much of an improvement compared to 8% a year ago. Not much at all. Go into this video, become a member. news.lalate.com/newsletter is where that newsletter is waiting for you right now. It is a brand new built-out website, my gift for you for Christmas 2022. You don't have to even memorize the website address. It's at the top of the chat, the pinned comment, and the description of the video. Grab the password for the most recent post on this channel for members, and go right and start getting stimulus check A to C, E to K, L to Q to 9. Small business owner gets stimulus check R. Unemployed person get unemployment stimulus. Children, if you had a child that would normally get fed in the schools before the pandemic started, and then when the pandemic started, you had to keep that child out of school and feed them yourself, well, you're entitled to some PBT checks, and more of them are landing. And those checks are deliciousness. Arizona, a couple $100. We'll have the latest details on that come into the show shortly. But first, let's go into that big second half as we get a gauge of where this economy is going next week, that recession and that inflation. We'll go over whether the market rally is justified or not justified. And we'll go back to this big stimulus and why it's so critical with a 2-year recession. It's a huge show tonight. I'm very excited you're here. Haven't had a show this good in a long time. We'll be back in 60 seconds with more about the breaking news and what it means for you and your wallet as LA Live in Primetime continues in 60 seconds.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE Live Daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now from the shores of Santa Monica, California, where the rain is coming on down and certainly the wind is picking up. Wow. What's important to understand is that 2023 has more stimulus than ever before. It's a combination of 3 years of stimulus checks. Stimulus checks from 2020, 2021, and 2022. When we talk about a date and a check, it does not mean the check became law in that year. It means that the check is paying in that year. So when we say 2023 stimulus checks, we mean it's paying you in 2023, not that it became law in 2023. Again, the way that laws work is that they're written. If they do not have expiration dates in them, which they generally do not, because they're not a gallon of milk, they remain law until they lose funding, until they're out of funding. And all the checks featured in this broadcast, all are still funded. That is why 2023 is a great year. And some of these items are very, very brand new, like Stimulus Check R. It's less than, 6 months old. Stimulus Checks A to C are less than a year old. So a lot of these stimulus checks are very new across the board. You want to get all these incredible stimulus checks. You want to shoot for as many months of checks, because that view is what will get you through a potential 2-year recession. 18 months, $3,000 a month, 5 checks per month is what viewers are getting. Fast stimulus because it pays out really quickly. And here's a couple of things you want to know when doing this stimulus. First, you are becoming a stimulus scholar. You're becoming a stimulus scholar, a payment PhD, because this is not novice stimulus. This is not introductory 101 stimulus. This is advanced stimulus. That's how this channel always was on day one. where people understood that there was an EIDL grant, they didn't understand how it worked. They understood there was an EIDL loan, they didn't understand how it worked. They were offered $200,000. I said, well, you know, you're collateralized over $25,000. What does collateralized mean? What does $25,000 mean? What does a cost of working capital mean? What do these things mean? And I had to guide them through all these hoops and hurdles to figure out how to get the right stimulus for them, the most money. Unemployment, same situation. Well, I got a claim approved. I don't have any checks. Did you certify for benefits? Oh, I didn't know that. Advanced stimulus, PhD stimulus, scholarly stimulus that are tens of thousands of dollars requires just a little bit of listening, and you are fine. So I'm so excited you're here on a very educational, big Learn to Earn show tonight. And with that, let's go into a major story that has been on this channel for now 12 months. In February of this last year, I was the only American financial broadcaster to record, in my prediction and my analysis and my training and my education, I was predicting a 2-year recession. At the time, Jamie Dimon, head of JP Chase, a really smart guy, was asked about that word recession when I was recording. And he says, he did not even want to acknowledge the word exists. It's a little scary word. The universe has totally changed now because people are no longer running away from the word. Now they're responding to questions about the word. And that's what happened since last night's broadcast. Jamie Dimon is head of JP Chase. Brian Moynihan is head of Bank America. And within just hours of each other, they both said the same thing. The U.S. economy is in a recession. They also both said the recession would at least, that's the key words, be mild. What's a mild recession? First, I want to make something clear because I don't think I made it clear since last night. Mild doesn't mean that it's felt by no one in one group and felt by another person in another group. No, mild means it's just not long. Mild means everyone will feel something, but it's not long. Now, how long is mild? At least mild. Mild is one of those vague terms, but in my opinion, what they're generally trying to say is at least 2 months. Soft recession would be 2 months. Mild would be something longer than 2 months, but a little bit less than what I've been saying for over a year. I've been saying a hard, deep, or dark recession. 2 years. 2 years, which starts now and continues to 2024. Who else has also said that? The Federal Reserve has said it will take to 2024 to get inflation back down to where it belongs. Well, if you believe inflation is one of the culprits for the recession, or Jay Powell raising rates is the culprit for recession, well, then you may also believe it's to 2024, this recession. What's important is to adapt yourself accordingly to the worst case scenario. And that's what Moynihan and Jamie Dimon said as well overnight. It should be at least, not as, it will be at least a mild recession. And what's important to understand is if you're a little bit older and you've lived through other recessions, this one's going to be different. Why? Because the 2008-ish recession, that was for the savings and loan debacle. The banking people. Yeah, not everyone was impacted by that. The 2010 approximate recession, that was caused by the tech bubble. This one will be broadly felt across all different industries, across all different types of economic lifestyles, and it will be there in less than 30 days. As it hits, then Americans are going to look for stimulus. You don't wait for them. That's a stimulus stampede. You get the money tonight. And that's why I want you to get as many months of checks as possible. Let's go into some of the breaking news we're looking at tonight. Boy, it's a big show, and I told you there's a lot going on. A market rally. Is that on the cards? Well, we're going to see what comes in on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday is what? The start of the corporate earnings for fourth quarter 2022. We want to see from these corporate earnings if there's indication of a deep, hard recession from forecasts and projections from these companies. On Tuesday is perhaps the biggest of the days because the banks know a lot and they're reporting their fourth quarter corporate earnings. Goldman Sachs reports corporate earnings on Tuesday. Then Morgan Stanley later that day. United Airlines, Travel and Leisure. We won't learn that much from them because they're always doing well. J.B. Hunt, we'll learn a lot from them because they are shippers. So is there a demand for the products to cause a lot of shipping, or is there not a demand? This is like a UPS report. This is what you want to really listen to carefully. Procter & Gamble's critical for Thursday, because if you're buying that canned Brussels sprouts, you know you are, Bob, then you want to see if that price of goods is going up even more or not, and what that meant for the consumer. Were they able to afford this across the board? And Netflix also reports on Thursday, plus followed by SLB on Friday. Let's look at some of the details for that in just a second. But first, I want to go over one of the most fascinating series of comments that came in the last 72 hours are from Fed governors. They spoke before the CPI was released, and they spoke after the CPI was released for inflation. And now, this is what they're saying. Fed Harker, Philadelphia Fed Reserve President Patrick Harker, said January 14th that he thinks the Federal Reserve should step back a little bit on the interest rate spikes. Not stop it, just do a little bit less. Recap. They did 75 for last year. Then they went to 50. And most are now saying 50 or 25. What do I think should be done? I think they should actually stay with 50. I don't think they should go for 75, but I really do not think they should go to 25. Why? Get ready for that CPI report coming up in a second. You're going to see why. So Harker says we should not do 50. We should do 25. Excuse me? I expect that we will raise rates a few more times this year, says Harker. I agree. This is from January 14th. Though, to my mind, the point of raising 75 basis points this time has surely passed. I agree. 75 is too strong. In my view, hikes of 25 basis points will be appropriate going forward. At some point this year, I expect the policy rate will be strict enough that we should hold rates in place to let the monetary policy do its work. Oh, I didn't notice how he phrased that until tonight. I've ran this quote before in the last few hours. There's a couple things I have a problem with this quote. First, this is contrary to the published, written, spoken policies of the Federal Reserve. Their policies have been for over a year to get inflation down to 2% and stay there for several months before taking the foot off the pedal. Is it there? No, it's a 6.5. Then, less than 30 days ago, they said, well, at least a downward trend towards 2%. Is it in a trend to 2%? No, it's a trend to 6%. So why is Harker basically trying to do a Fed pivot false narrative as a Fed president? I just don't think this is well spoken for him to say something like this. Do I think 25 is fine? You know, I'm not against 25 basis point. I think 50 would make more sense. 50 is more consistent with the Federal Reserve's policy, which is quick sprint to lower inflation, not a long marathon. And that's where I'm going to disagree with Diane Swong tonight, chief economist at KPMG. The Fed has made clear that it wants to derail inflation. That's correct. And they see this as a marathon and not a sprint. No, they don't, Diane. That's exactly the opposite of what they said. They said they need this down very quickly, inflation, because if it's not down quickly, it becomes embedded in the psyche of the consumer. That's a fancy way of saying you bite your lip, but you're still going to buy the $12 eggs. Eggflation, I will never bite my lips and buy $12 eggs. But yeah, I may get used to $3.75 gallon of milk. Ugh, yuck. Yeah, I might get used to that. I might get used to Brussels sprouts, a little bit more expensive. Bob, are you used to Brussels sprouts yet? I don't think Bob's used to Brussels sprouts at any price. So I disagree with Diane. I do not believe there's going to be a marathon to get inflation down. It's going to be a sprint. But here's what's at issue. Sprint does not mean they achieve in a sprint. They're going to try at least an effort to get it in a sprint. Now, the comments from Harker are also problematic for another reason, which is he believes that 25 should be done next and then get ready to take your foot completely off the pedal. That's not happening. I don't care who Harker is. No one in the Federal Reserve is taking their foot off the pedal anytime soon until they have it to 6% to 2% inflation. We've only gone from 8 to 6%. Harker, what are you saying here? Now, is 25 going to work? No, you know, I'm not going to fight over 25 versus 50, but I would not do 25. I would do 50 until we get it to lower numbers, this inflationary report across the board. And after the CPI was released, did that change the equation? If you're sensible, it should not change the equation, because let's look and see what happened to that 8% inflation in the latest CPI. It's still 6.5%. So if you're trying to get 2% and you've been doing this for over a year, how successful are you? You're not successful at all. You've gone from 8 to 6.5. How far is 6.5 to 2? It's a lot further than it is from 8 to 6.5. So that is why Jay Powell and company have been talking about doing this for a few years into 2024. Not that they're doing slowly like a marathon, just that it may take a marathon with an endurance race at a 2-minute mile. What is a sprinter's mile usually? I'm not a runner, so I don't know the number. But no, they're not going to do it slowly, but it may end up taking a long time to get it done. Inflation release, the CPI, in the December 2022 this week showed us that inflation has not come down at all. Really 1.5% in 1 year, that's nothing to sing about or to think that it's a Fed pivot. Core CPI, core inflation, which excludes food and energy, did not come down much at all either. And that was the estimate. Here is the actual. It's basically the same number. The only difference that's a little bit different is the core month-to-date MTD versus the estimated. Let's look and see where the breakdowns were. We talked about this about a week ago, what we were expecting. So food was still up. Boy, bad news for Bob when he goes to buy those Brussels sprouts. It's just still going more expensive, Bob. Will you buy less of them? Energy, 4.5% down. Oh my goodness. New vehicles, down 1%. I guess that's the end of the Cadillac. Used car trucks and the 2.5%. The tow truck and the tow hitch, well, it will likely be it could be a new car because used cars are, well, actually it could be a new used car because they're falling faster than the new cars. Apparel, makes sense? No. Why is apparel going up if retail sales are not there? And then those crazy landlords always raising you on the rent. Another 0.8% in 1 month. Yeah, it's just much the same all across the board. Let's go back to this graphic for this week. So Goldman and Morgan will tell you the credit card limits that Americans are carrying long-term and whether they are unable to pay it off in short-term or long-term installments. United Airlines are going to tell us the same thing that they always tell you. No, people traveling. Yeah, not really helpful. Hunt will tell us whether there's a demand to buy products because they're shipping them or whether there is not. Procter & Gamble will give us the latest details on the demand for canned foods and similar items and soap and detergents, things like that. We'll get a good sense of that across the board. What you need to know when you're looking at stimulus for 2023 is that it's going to separate us into two groups of people. Not separate us, separate society into two groups of people. There are people who are going to be the original and still the core viewers of this channel. People who listen and learn and want to pounce and make a lot of money. These are people who do not want $1,800 checks. They want 18 months of stimulus checks. They don't want $300 raise their benefits. They want $3,000 a month for many, many months. They don't want they don't want $500 checks. They want 5 checks per month for 18 months. These are people who want tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars of stimulus. And when they're told in a broadcast like this, it is law, that viewers have been paid it, they want it. And they will do what they need to learn to become a payment PhD, a stimulus scholar. They're not going to stand by the mailbox. That doesn't require any element of learning, doesn't require any element of educating themselves. They're going to sit back and take notes and watch this video and learn about how to get as much money as possible. And that is, of course, you. That is, of course, you. The very first day of this channel, people said to me, that EIDL grant, I didn't know it exists, but I heard about it. How do I get it? Then I showed it to them. Then they said, how do I answer this question? How do I answer that question? How do I answer this question? And that's what this channel took off with. Answering questions about how to do applications for big stimulus. EIDL loan. People were getting offered $200,000. And then I said, wait a second. Did you accept it? Some had, some hadn't. And I said, well, anything over $25,000 is collateralized. And do you want to be collateralized? And then I had to teach them what collateralization of their assets are. And then they said, oh, I do not want that. Thank goodness you exist. I immediately told them, take something under the collateralization level. $24,900 was the number of the day. And you cannot imagine how many tens of thousands of viewers took an EIDL loan for $24,900. Exactly. Because I said if you take $25,001, they'll collateralize your assets in the event that you are unable to pay back the EIDL loan. Unemployment, same situation. Whether it's King Reno or Ellen Bellenkamp out of Florida, they're getting tens of thousands of dollars for unemployment. There was my wonderful viewers in Texas, and they were saying, you know what? I'm entitled to all this money, and I'll fight to get this money. And they got the money. Kevin Lewis got over, I think it was 15,000, close to 25,000, and it was a hurdle. It was a hurdle to get it, but he got it because he listened to the recording and he learned to get the incredible money. He also got some early housing stimulus he needed at the time because he was not getting his unemployment checks yet. They eventually came. That's the difference between you and everyone else. It's not the difference based upon where you live. It's not the difference based upon your physical or mental attributes. It's not the difference based upon your educational levels. It's not the difference between your ownership of a computer or not the ownership of a computer. All you need is your dedication, your focus, and a cell phone. And you will become, or already are tonight, a graduated stimulus scholar payment PhD. Congratulations. The continuing coverage goes throughout the night. Join me for the new programming schedule on evenings on this channel. Evenings LALATE has been moved back to 5:30, and in the 5 o'clock time slot is the brand new, really big hit show, LALATE Live on Channel 1. On Channel 2, Stimulus Live starts about 5 minutes thereafter, 5 o'clock, 5:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wall Street Live, about the same time as well. And then LALATE, Evenings LALATE has now been moved back 30 minutes to 5:30 across the board. Do what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Be proud of your ability to learn to earn. Anyone can do this. All you need is a cell phone. It has nothing to do with where you were born. It has nothing to do with where you were educated. It has nothing to do with your physical attributes or your mental attributes. All you have to have is a willingness to do it and listening and learning. Go into this video, become a member, and stay with me throughout the night as the broadcasting continues. Just a great evening. So long as the rain stops, I think we'll be fine. And I know Bob wants those Brussels sprouts inflation to go away. Brusselflation. From the shores of San Juan, California. The programming continues throughout the night. What a great night it is. Stay informed, stay focused, do what you do so well. Keep on pouncing, keep on earning every dollar you can get because it's there and it's been passed, it's law, and it's all for you. From the shores of San Juan, California, stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA.